Hey, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily. Of course, the reason you subscribe to our channel is for our daily videos on recent news, market analysis. Today, you are in luck, my friend. We're going to go over some pretty interesting pieces of news. It's coming in the second half of this video. Right now, I want to start right here. Let's do some market analysis. And I guess the overall sentiment for today's video is hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. As you know, I'm very long-term bullish when it comes to Bitcoin. For me, it's not really a question of if Bitcoin's going to get to $100,000 someday. For me, that's more of a question of when that's going to happen. So despite my long-term bullishness, I think we need to be realistic, and that's what this video is about. I think we need to recognize two additional possibilities this year. Possibility number one is that as we end the summer and we get into the fall, the price might cool off for a while, a little reaccumulation period. And then possibility number two, in the even shorter term, 9,100 might not be the local bottom. This might not be the floor, and we might see a big flush downward in the not too distant future. Hopefully that'd be followed by a rally up going into the end of the year. We can talk about that in a second. But let's talk about both these possibilities in the short term, mind you. And I guess let's start with the first one. Let's start with number one. So if you look back at prior calendar years in Bitcoin's history, you're going to notice one specific pattern. Actually, we notice a few different things, but today I want to focus on the summer rally. So I invite you, go through every year in Bitcoin's price history, and you're going to notice the summer rally, where in the summer, we often see the price rally up, followed by a cool down period, and then an end of the year rally. So for instance, 2014, summer rally. 2015, summer rally. 2016, summer rally. It's very distinct. 2017, a double summer rally. I mean, there's really no cool down period here. And then 2018, well, it didn't really happen in 2018. And 2019, today, this year, a summer rally is what I think we've just gone through. So actually, in just a general pattern, you probably noticed, we see this almost every year. We see a dip in the beginning of the year. We see a rally during the summer. We see a short cool-off period in the fall, and then we see a greater rally going into the end of the year. Of course, this is all within the context of the Bob Lucas 4-year cycle. We've talked about this before. And of course, as you know, no year is exactly the same, right? In fact, they're all very much different. All of this being said, I think it'd be very realistic to think that what we have just gone through was the summer rally of sorts. And now as we're entering into the fall, maybe for the next 4 to 6 weeks, nobody really knows the exact time frame, we might continue to see a cool down, consolidation, reaccumulation period. So if Bitcoin cools down, that's not bearish, in my opinion. In fact, if you look at the weekly, if you look at the monthly, we could be setting up a little consolidation launch pad to take us into greater all-time highs in the end of the year, or possibly, I think most definitely, in 2020. So those are my thoughts on the medium term. And now, as the title suggests, I also have thoughts on the short term. And so while I am preparing that we might see a cool down in the medium term, possibly in the short term, we might see a flush downwards. It might last for a week. It might last for a few days. But the reason I think this is for a couple different things. But what I want to show you is this. If we go back in prior bull cycles in Bitcoin's history, we can basically, what I'm talking about is something like this, and something like this, where each time we see after a massive rally up, Bitcoin kind of starts consolidating for weeks and weeks. And just as you think, well, maybe we formed a little plateau right here, we see the flush downwards. And then what's good is that each time this happens, the buyers step in and Bitcoin's price rallies up further. As you can see, after a certain point, Bitcoin's price never got to those previous levels ever again. So just taking a look at the BLX chart, maybe what I'm looking for this year is a little maybe a flush downwards, a little cool off period, followed by the buyers stepping in, us getting near all-time highs going towards the end of the year, and then possibly setting us up for, I think, a greater bull market going into 2020, going into the halving. Let me know what you think. But now I am excited to get to some recent news. This is stuff that you will find very interesting. One of Europe's leading budget airlines, the Norwegian Air, will allow passengers to buy tickets using Bitcoin. The story is the title. This is according to Yahoo Finance as of July 31st. And yeah, I mean, this is the PR, the word of mouth that Bitcoin needs. People actually wanting to use and interact and promote Bitcoin is Bitcoin's grassroots PR team. So I just wanted to point this out to you. Next piece of news, if you are a Binance fan, regardless if you are or are not, I just want to let you know, congrats that Binance was successfully listed in the App Store. I believe this is on the iStore, the Apple Store, and you can see the app right here. So far, it has a 4.2 rating, but if you're really into trading, if you're really into Binance, now you have more options available. I am going to like this because I want to support stuff like this. Next piece of news, well, it's not really news, but it's kind of a snapshot of where Reddit is with cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin dominance in subreddit subscriber counts. So these are individual subreddits for specific coins, Bitcoin and altcoins, and you can see the dominance breakdown. So Bitcoin has over, it's the biggest, it has over 1.1 million subscribers, 43% of the total dominance. Next is Ethereum. Next is RBTC, which is actually more of a Bcash subreddit. Then Ripple has 8%, Monero, Stellar, Cardano, Bitcoin SV at the bottom. I'm sure there's even, I know I'm a part of like a nulls one, so I'm sure there's even a lot less compared to this. But it's an interesting snapshot. You can see that even in Reddit, Bitcoin's dominance is the greatest. Then Ethereum is second, which is pretty interesting. Next, another snapshot, as it were. Countries where Bitcoin is banned or legal in 2019. So in case you were ever wondering what kind of the world governments thinks of Bitcoin, you can see that a lot of the countries you would want for Bitcoin to be legal, they are green. Then we have some restricted in yellow. Illegal is in red. I think this is a pretty good chart. As this person pointed out, India plus China plus Indonesia is a huge chunk of the population in the yellow zone. So take that for what it is. I just wanted you to know. Let's actually dive into this next story. I thought it was pretty interesting. This is courtesy of ccn.com. The headline is this. This Ripple chart screams buy. Will XRP defy the altcoin apocalypse? So let's check this out. So since late June, when Ripple XRP's price reached its 2019 high near 50 cents, the cryptocurrency has plummeted nearly 50%. Currently, XRP is trading at about 26 cents, and at least one analyst believes it's primed for a major recovery. According to the chief market analyst at Think Markets, Naheem Aslam, the altcoin is, quote, way oversold and a tremendous value at its current level. Now, I personally don't feel that way. Let's go over and check out its current price. I know a lot of XRP people say that XRP is going to the moon. It's still at 26 cents. I actually have the opposite view. I'm not opposed to trading Ripple or swing trading Ripple because I think this coin is primed for a lot of volatility, especially going into the bull market. I actually think it has yet to capitulate. I think it's teetering on capitulating, and the fact that its supply is so big makes me worried that because the adoption isn't coming as fast as maybe you'd want because the Ripple company keeps, as was originally planned, taking coins out of escrow and selling them to certain parties. I personally think that, well, I'm just not getting involved in XRP at the moment, and I don't believe in it long term, but in the bull market, it could be good to swing trade. This is the opposite opinion from the original bullish person. This person is more like my opinion. Traders should be cautious with Ripple. But while the charts are screaming buy for Ripple, some analysts are urging caution. Cole Walton, head trader at Kainos Capital Management and co-founder of Pluton Mining, cited the increasingly competitive crypto landscape as a reason to tread carefully when considering an investment in XRP. Quote, although many of the technicals like RSI and position relative to moving averages looks like XRP is severely oversold and could bounce, traders should be cautious because the token has been falling out of favor with many crypto market participants, and there are many competing projects with similar characteristics, maybe like Libra, and arguably a much better value proposition that have come to market. So two opposing points of view there. Wanted to share this with you. Guys, right now, as you know, everything I do pretty much is, I talk about altcoin news sometimes, but all my videos, basically what I'm researching is all Bitcoin right now, because I think Bitcoin is the best buy right now. Even if I'm bullish on the fundamentals of XRP, I personally think that in the short to medium term, it's not a good investment. I think most altcoins are not a good investment right now. In the coming years, once many new people step into the market, altcoins will be hot again, and it'll be fun because we're going to know way more than the average people. You're going to tune into this channel and see what altcoins maybe are the best buys. But that's not the time right now, and that's why I talk about Bitcoin most of the time. I want to finish off today's video. As you know, we broke the backed news. Check out yesterday's video if you want to find out more details on backed. But somebody tweeted this. Can somebody explain how backed is bullish for Bitcoin? Serious question. And it was just interesting and insightful reading some of the replies. For instance, well, how is greater liquidity, increased legitimacy, higher price, higher participation, and more access bullish for Bitcoin? Well, I think he just answered the question. There can be no naked shorting with this instrument because it requires a physical delivery of the asset, so it is more bullish than the CME in that regard. Yes. Imagine plebes not knowing backed custodies enough Bitcoin to also physically dump. Okay, this guy's a little bit more bearish, I feel. But basically it's because it is physically backed, they're going to have to hold a large supply of Bitcoin in their custody to be able to settle these futures contracts. And yes, it gives it more legitimacy, gives people more access to it. It's just better. It's just that continued snowball effect where Bitcoin keeps gaining momentum slowly but surely, and eventually as the snowball keeps rolling downhill, it gets bigger and bigger and harder to stop, basically, is the point. And that is it for me today, my friends. Of course, you can follow us on our Twitter at altcoindailyio. We are brothers Aaron, myself, and Austin, crypto investors and enthusiasts. And then, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, our main point of contact, Altcoin Daily. We are leaders in this space when it comes to crypto news, crypto market analysis, basically being crypto enthusiasts and investors. And that is it from me today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Cheers. It's going to be a great year, but possibly a cool down in the next few weeks.